delays can happen due to various factors like backlogs, missing documents, or consulate-specific processing times. Usually, once the NVC schedules the interview, they'll send an appointment letter directly to the applicant, and that typically happens a few weeks before the interview date.
Hello and welcome. In today's video, I have a conversation with chat regarding I-130 process, how long it will take before you get your interview appointment letter, and what can you do in case you're not getting your interview appointment letter. Enjoy the conversation. Good morning, chat.
Good morning. How's it going today? Hope you're having a great start to your day.
Yeah, everything's going fine. Today, we're gonna have another conversation, okay? So what you're gonna do, you're gonna act as expert in immigration process, who has many years of experience. Okay, so I have a friend who filed a I-130 petition for his wife. So it's been like 6 months already. The case was approved by USCIS, and he's not getting his wife is not getting the interview appointment letter yet. So can you clarify the process for me and tell me exactly when his wife will get her interview appointment letter?
Absolutely. So after the I-130 petition is approved by USCIS, the case is usually forwarded to the National Visa Center, NVC. The NVC then takes some time to process the case, collect the necessary documents, and assign a case number. Once everything's complete, the NVC schedules the interview at the appropriate U.S. consulate or embassy. Typically, the entire process can take several months. 6 months is not unusual, but delays can happen due to various factors like backlogs, missing documents, or consulate-specific processing times. Usually, once the NVC schedules the interview, they'll send an appointment letter directly to the applicant, and that typically happens a few weeks before the interview date. So, in short, your friend's wife should be receiving that interview appointment letter once the NVC finishes processing and schedules the interview. If it's been a bit longer than expected, it might be worth reaching out to the NVC or checking in with the consulate directly. Let me know if you need more details.
Okay, so yeah, everything was fine. They submit the right document, they pay the correct fees. But my friend is kind of disappointed. He's thinking that maybe his wife will never get the interview appointment letter. Is that true?
I totally understand the concern. It can definitely feel frustrating when things take longer than expected, but it's not uncommon for delays to happen, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the interview won't happen at all. Sometimes the NVC just has a backlog, or the consulate might have limited interview slots available. Usually, as long as all documents are in order, it's just a matter of waiting for the next available appointment. If your friend is really worried, they can always contact the NVC or even the consulate directly to check on the status. But in most cases, the appointment letter will come through eventually. It's definitely not a lost cause. Let me know if there's anything else I can help with.
So my friend already reached out to NVC National Visa Center. They always tell him to wait, to keep waiting, and he's kind of frustrated. Is there anything you want to tell him to calm him down, to calm his wife down a little bit?
I totally get that frustration. It's definitely not easy to be in that waiting period. One thing that might help is reminding them that these delays are pretty common and that the NVC and the consulates are often dealing with large volumes of cases. It's also a good idea to stay proactive by periodically checking in, but also to be patient. Encouraging them to focus on other positive steps during the waiting period might help too. And of course, it's always good to keep the lines of communication open and support each other through the process.
When you say focus it on positive steps, what do you mean?
Great question. By focusing on positive steps, I mean things like making sure all the paperwork and documentation is up to date, preparing for the interview in advance, maybe practicing potential interview questions.
Before we talk about that, if your spouse or your parent are preparing their immigrant visa interview, well, we have some ebooks that can help them with their interview questions. The links are in the description below. Now let's go back to the video.
Or even gathering any additional supporting documents that might be needed. It can also help to focus on other aspects of life or personal goals during the waiting period, like planning for when the interview is done or even just enjoying some downtime. It's really about keeping a positive mindset and staying proactive so that the wait feels a bit more manageable.
So what if his wife is sick or she is in a life and death situation? Is there any option to speed up the process a little bit?
Absolutely. In situations like that, there are options to request expedited processing. The NBC and the consulates can sometimes expedite cases for urgent humanitarian reasons, such as serious illness or even life threatening situations. It usually involves submitting a formal request with documentation that supports the urgency. In these cases, your friend can reach out to the NBC or the consulate, explain the situation in detail, and provide supporting documents like medical records or a letter from a physician. It's definitely worth exploring those options if the situation is urgent. And of course, it's always good to communicate openly and keep all the relevant parties informed. Let me know if you need more specifics on that.
So do you think that because of the new administration, Mr. Trump administration, the process is taking a little longer than usual?
It's definitely possible that administrative changes can impact processing times. Different administrations sometimes bring shifts in policies, priorities, and resource allocations, which can lead to delays or longer wait times. While the Trump administration had some policy changes that affected immigration, it's also true that these processes have been impacted by a variety of factors like global events or shifts in staffing levels. So while it might be a factor, it's just one of many, and each case can vary. It's always good to keep an eye on any updates from the current administration and stay informed, but definitely it's not unusual for these delays to happen regardless of the administration.
So I know you mentioned earlier that different factors will impact on when my friend's wife will receive her interview appointment letter. Can you mention at least 5 of those factors for me?
Of course, here are 5 key factors that can influence the timing of the interview appointment. 1, case backlogs. The volume of applications can cause delays. If there's a large backlog at the NBC or the consulate, it can slow things down. 2, document completeness. If any required documents are missing and need additional information, that can delay the process. 3, consulate or embassy workload. Different consulates have varying workloads and appointment availability, so the specific location can impact timing. 4, security and background checks. Additional security clearances or background checks can add extra time to the process. And 5, policy changes and administrative factors. As we mentioned, shifts in immigration policy or staffing levels at the NVC or consulate can also impact how quickly things move. All of these factors together can influence the timeline for when the interview appointment letter is issued.
So my friend's wife is in IR1 category. How long is the whole process from the time he filed the I-130 petition to the time his wife gets the immigrant visa?
The IR1 category, which is for immediate relatives of U.S. citizens, generally has a more streamlined process compared to other family-based categories. Typically, from the time the I-130 is filed to the time the immigrant visa is issued, it can range anywhere from about 12 to 18 months. That timeline can vary based on factors like USCIS processing times, NBC processing, and the specific consulate's workload. In general, once the I-130 is approved, the case goes to the NVC, which can take a few months for document collection and processing. Then once everything is complete, the consulate schedules the interview, and that can add a few more months depending on the location. So while it's generally a shorter process for IR1 visas, it's still good to plan for roughly a year or so from start to finish.
Thank you so much for all your answers and your time. I'm sure we're gonna talk about other topics another day. Thanks and have a great day.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could help, and absolutely feel free to reach out anytime. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to our next chat.
Thanks for watching.